Will the Corrado get me home safely tonight, or will I be on the hard shoulder of the M40? Hello guys, and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel. Today's video is episode 5 of Project Corrado. In episode 4, the car disappointingly failed its MOT test. Well, we're going to put that right today and then take the car for its longest drive under my ownership. Because it takes twice as long to work on an old car and twice as long again to film working on an old car, I'm just going to film the jobs I'm doing on the car with my mobile phone. So the quality won't be brilliant, but hopefully you'll agree it's worth documenting the work that I'm doing. So without any further ado, let's get fixing Project Corrado. Before we get started on the work, I just want to open this envelope that's been sent to me by a previous Corrado owner, Ian Saxton, who I've been in touch with for quite a few years now. And firstly, he sent me a sticker that goes on the red badge to make the VR6 badge on the grille the correct silver colour, so I better do that when I've got a steady hand. He sent me the sticker that goes somewhere near the radiator on the slam panel that's possibly missing or not on my car, I can't remember, but it's nice to have a spare if not. A Corrado Club air freshener, how cool is that? I think I've had one of those before and they smell really nice. And a Corrado Club of Great Britain window sticker. I think I better join them as well. It'd be a bit silly to put it in the car without being a member. It's a very, very good club. That's right. Now it's time to get my hands dirty. Okay, so the biggest issue was the corroded brake pipes you can see there, and they run all the way to the caliper over the trailing arm. They come out of the compensator valve here. Well, actually bits of them do. So there's a short bit to a flexi there. A longer bit runs across behind that heat shield to this flexi here, and then that goes directly over to the caliper. So we're going to replace all 4 of those and the hoses as well for good measure. The tricky bit is trying to get them out of the compensator. This is aluminium, I think. They've been in there for like 27 years, and naturally they're quite happy being in there, don't want to be disturbed. So I've had to heat that up using a heat gun. Haven't used a flame, just a heat gun, and some plus gas, which is the UK equivalent of probably the PB blaster you see in a lot of American videos. It's don't use WD-40, you need something really designed to undo sort of rusty nuts and bolts, so that's really cool. When they're undone, we're going to upgrade the hoses to these ones from Hell. They're braided, so they're going to give a little bit more pedal feel, and they're going to look pretty OEM. But what I want to do is, where I can improve stuff sympathetically, I'm going to improve it. And when it comes to braking, you can't have too much braking. There's front ones in there as well. Brake pipes you can get made up. I've never really learned or had the tools to do it because I don't sell cars this old normally. But these were bought off eBay, pre-made, 50 quid. There's 4 of them there, and they should be pretty easy to connect. The tricky bit is just undoing that. Once you've undone those 2, you can pretty much cut the rest off, because you're going to replace it all the way up to the calipers. So we'll see how we get on. It's be nice to undo it properly, but yeah, if it's rusty, let's get the Dremel out. Okay, it was pretty easy to undo the pipes and hoses on the near side, but on the off side, the heads of the brake pipes have rounded off. So I'm just going to cut through the metal, and then we can get sort of unwind them a lot more easily, because we'll never undo them from this flexi. Okay, chop through that pretty easily with the Dremel. Just got to be mindful, A, that brake fluid is flammable, and also that you've got a fuel filter here very close. So just yeah, take great care. There's no fluid in this pipe because it's drained out from here where it was disconnected, so that helps. So this should just pull through. I'll put my torch on. The good thing is these brake pipes and hoses do go through the brackets. You don't have to undo them to get them through. So there's the old one. Now this brake pipe goes, I don't know if you can see it there, behind the exhaust heat shield, and then this is it coming out from the heat shield and where it goes into the compensator. That's what we're going to replace. And what's left on this side is not very much. I'll look at the state of that. There we go, there's the cut off end there. So we're going over the axle to the hose that goes onto the caliper just there. So the brake pipe and hose on this side is now on the floor over there. And the trickier long pipe that goes from the compensator right across to here where it goes through the flexi, that is now hanging down. It does run behind this heat shield, which makes it quite awkward to get. So you can see it's clipped in there and on the other side as well. So to get the heat shield down, I've had to undo the exhaust mounting bracket, which goes through those two holes there. And then that then actually doesn't really help much because this is in the way, which is clipped into the chassis there with those funny little round clips, which I do keep in stock because they don't tend to go back on very well. So that's popped down and given me good access now to feed the new pipe over to this side and then connect it to the to the brake pressure compensator. So let's get cracking with that. This is the big moment now, just hoping everything in that box fits correctly. Okay, the new brake pipes look pretty similar to the old ones. So that's the passenger side one from the trailing arm to the caliper. That's the little pigtail that connects that one to the brake compensator valve. That's the one that goes over the exhaust, the really long one. And then this, by default, must be the driver's side one from the trailing arm to the caliper. I've had to cut this, so it's really hard to say exactly what it was like before, but it doesn't look very much like this. So I think this one's probably got a bit bent in transit because they are quite flexible, so I'll probably have to reshape that one a bit. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm sure it'll go back to the correct shape quite easily. But yeah, looking good so far. I've just opened the gate so the man from Euro Car Parts can bring me some brake fluid. And while I was down there, I checked the post box, and there is my pass for Sunday's scramble at Bicester Heritage. You may recall the urgency to get this car ready, i.e. MOT'd, is to get it at this event. So yeah, I'm even more motivated now I've got this pass in my hand. So yeah, not a lot to do now. The pipe, well, the hose is on as well. So we've got the hell hose there, nice fit. And then that goes onto the copper pipe, which I've had to actually bend quite a lot to get to fit. That goes over the heat shield and it's down here now in the compensator. So that's good news. It's took longer than I expected to do. Actually, this one wasn't too bad, but again, it took a bit of bending. I've had to cable tie it to the axle there because the clip has broken, like I think nearly all of them have done, apart from the ones under the heat shield. But yeah, we are getting there, not far off now. I'm bleeding the brakes now because obviously we've opened up the system. A lot of air has come out and also a lot of black fluid, so they should be a lot nicer. They weren't very good, to be honest, before. To stop the fluid leaking out, I put a piece of wood to press the brake pedal down, and that's flattened the battery because it puts the brake lights on. So that's on charge. To bleed, I use this Sealy brake pressure bleeder. It's like not much more expensive than an easy bleed, and it's much better. You can see the pressure there, about 10 psi is all you need. And yeah, it's been brilliant. It really does make brake bleeding really easy. Right. Just checking I've addressed everything that was due. So windscreen wipers, I actually found some new wiper arms in stock. Maybe they were from a time when somebody converted to a TT arm on a Corrado. They seem perfect, or black, and I've got some wipers as well. They're not probably right now because the spoiler's on the wrong side, but they're going to be better than what they were like before, and they're going to pass an MOT. That's all that matters for now. Brake pipes, so 2 entries there, they've been done. And then braking balance across rear axle. Well, the passenger side brake was underperforming. Now, that could still involve replacing the caliper, but it could have been air as well. So I've cleaned up the pads so they slide more efficiently, greased the sliders, which were bone dry, and obviously bled it thoroughly. So hopefully that will fix that. So let's get down to the MOT station and see how we get on today. That's an interesting noise, 30 miles an hour. Okay, I think I found the noise. It's the windscreen rubber. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, well that didn't go as planned. I'm back at work now with the car apart again because I asked the tester to just test the back brakes before we did the full test again, and it did the same thing. This brake was underperforming, so there's no choice but to get a caliper from, and there it is. So it's a reconditioned caliper from Paget, and I've got some more brake fluid, a 2 litre in 2 days. You get the new bits for the sliders and some grease there. So hopefully this will be it. It's 2 o'clock now, MOT booked at 3, so I'll see you then. Okay guys, well I'm pleased to report I now have a well-earned pass certificate for the Corrado. And I don't think it's done too badly really. It failed on brake pipes over the original, 27 years old. That's pretty good going, I'd say. And it failed on a caliper, which I've actually never seen fail in that way before. You normally have a bad handbrake. The handbrake was perfect, just the foot brake was half as strong as it should have been. So after 20 years of doing this job, I'm still living and learning. The wiper blades were just silly really. I could have done that anyway. So yeah, not a bad result, and I can drive it in the confidence knowing that it's had some work done on the brakes, it's got new brake fluid, and it's been checked over by somebody who knows what they're doing. Not that I don't, but anyway. The thing about MOTs though, they don't mean the car is going to be reliable. I could drive it down the M40 tonight and it could lose all its coolant and I could be in big trouble. So I need to do a few more miles in and just shake it down. It's been, well, it hasn't been used much really. It's done in 3 years, it's done 4,000 miles, and it slowed down over the last couple with lockdown. So it's been standing. Apparently, according to Stealth, it's been well maintained, so that's good, but I really need to go and put some miles on it before Bicester Heritage on Sunday. That's just 4 days away, and I don't want to go there on the way and find out that something's going to go wrong when I could have just driven it today and fixed it before Sunday. So what I'm going to do tonight is go home in the car. I live 37 miles away. It's a mixture of motorway and some nice country roads, and that should prove a really good shakedown. There is quite a bit of jeopardy here. Will the Corrado get me home safely tonight, or will I be on the hard shoulder of the M40? Well, let's get in the car and find out. I realise as I approach the M42 that I've never driven this car at speed before. You can tell by what happened to the windscreen rubber when I hit 25 miles an hour. So definitely not since it's come back from the body shop, and they're only like a few miles away and on country lanes, so I didn't go over about 60 miles an hour. When I bought it, it was delivered to me. So yeah, this is definitely a step into the unknown, but of course I wouldn't drive it if it didn't drive right. It drives like a Corrado. It's a little bit more rattly than ones I used to drive years ago, but it feels right. Clutch is a little bit juddery, but that'll get done when Vince has the car at Stealth Racing and they do the timing change, so I'm not too worried about that. It doesn't feel like it's going to give up, and it's not going to get much use on the motorway. From past experience with these engines, coolant leaks are the big problems. You get them from the thermostat housing on the gearbox side of the engine, and there are all sorts of funny little pipes that join that can leak. It does sound pretty good though. The Jetex stainless exhaust that was kindly fitted by the previous owner just before he sold it. Long story. Gives it a nice burble and isn't offensive. There is quite a lot of wind noise though. Okay, just fiddling with the 12 volt USB charger because it's not very secure. Might need my mobile phone, you see, in a minute. But here we go, onto the M42 in third gear. The pedal's really heavy. I've said this probably before, it doesn't feel very responsive. And spoiler is up. The spoiler has been deployed. That's very good to see that. I've never seen that before. I've never been fast enough. Okay, I mean, we should remember the Corrado was designed to be a long distance cruiser, and we're doing at 73,000 RPM. It's not great for a modern car, but it's not a modern car. That's quite a laid back gait for a car from the 90s. We just get into junction 16, which is the sort of bailout junction if you don't want to carry on to junction 15, which is Warwick. Let's go Warwick. 3,000, 4,000. still a fast car today, this. And the brakes to it though. The hell hoses certainly seem to be helping. Okay, well, not only am I at home, I've really enjoyed the process of coming home. Now, I know you might think driving a Corrado VR6, you're going to enjoy it, but it is an old car. It's done quite a few miles. It could have driven really badly, but all the magic is still there, which is testament to the guys at Stealth Racing. Now, mechanically, it's legal. It still needs a lot of work done on the engine. Externally, it's pretty presentable, but the interior is still covered in all the body shop dust, so I'm going to do that over the next few days and then get it to Bicester Heritage in a few days, so it should be looking pretty good there. Anyway, guys, as ever, thanks for watching this Volks Wizard video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, please do comment, please do share, please do subscribe, and see you for the next one very soon.